lesson today, we are going on revising what we have been able to go through because we've covered the syllabus. And today we are going to revise from where we left the other day, or the other lesson. Our last lesson, we learned the use of who and whose. In our lesson today, we will learn the use of when and where. So, I start by saying who and whose. Then we are going to add where and where in sentences, constructing sentences. So, who and where are for people. These are for people. Mostly they refer to people. When, so the difference with these ones is that where is about a place. When is about time. So all these, they have different content. These ones, they talk about people, where talks about place, and when talks about time. We are going to see that as we continue discussing. So, I will take an example, who and where. Who and where. I have a sentence. This is the man who was arrested for theft. Who was arrested for theft? Who? We have used who there. Then, there is also another sentence. This is the girl whose blouse was eaten by a cow. Whose? It is talking about the girl. Who is talking about the man? Whose is talking about the girl with the brows. So, we have seen how to use the two. Now, I also have two more sentences where we shall use where and when. Yes, those ones. So, one of the sentences is, the court was already in session. The court. It was already in session when we arrived. This one is telling us that by the time we arrived, we found the activity already had started and it was ongoing. Then there is another one. This is a town. This is the town. This is the town, sorry. This is the town where my uncle lives. place where this person was living. Now, these are examples. The examples where we use who and whose, and now some other examples where we have used where and when. So where we use who, this is the man who was arrested for theft. The man. Who? This is the girl whose brows, whose most of the times it talks about possession. Possession. The girl whose brows was eaten by a cow. Whose? Possession. The owner. Possession or ownership is where we use whose. Now, the use of where and when. We have two examples there. The court was already in session when we arrived. It means we were late and we found the court already going on. The other one is, this is the town where my uncle lives. It is a place, the place where the uncle lives. It is the place where the uncle lives. Now, I have some sentences which we are supposed to say orally, or to read orally, and then I'll give you some work. I'll dictate some work for you, which you can do after. The first sentence, the instruction is, fill in the gaps below. Fill in the gaps below using who, whose, where, or when. The first sentence, the person dash stole from our school was taken to court. The person dash stole from our school was taken to court. And the gap there we shall fill with who. And then the sentence will read, the person who stole from our school was taken to court. Another sentence, what is the name of the man dash daughter won the trophy? What is the name of the man dash daughter won the trophy? In this sentence, we can see that it is who. What is the name of the man whose daughter won the trophy? Whose, because it is the owner of the girl. The owner of that girl was who. That is the name of the person they wanted, which was being sought. Another sentence, the case had already ended, dash, we arrived. The case had already ended, dash, we arrived. And in this case, we are going to say when. And the sentence would read, the case had already ended when we arrived. Meaning, we don't know how it was decided, it has already gone. Another sentence, I will take you to town. I know dash, we can buy the items. I will take you to town. I know dash, we can buy the items. So the answer there is where. And the sentence reads, I will take you to town. I know where we can buy the items. Another question. Mrs. Molindi has told us dash, we will leave for our trip. Mrs. Molindi has told us dash, we will leave for our trip. The answer is when. And the sentence reads, Mrs. Molindi has told us when we will leave for our trip, has given us time when we shall go, or when we will leave for that trip. I want to do this one with you again, learners. That is the man dash computer broke down. That is the man dash computer broke down. And the answer is whose. That is the man whose computer broke down. Now, I'm going to give some work orally, and then I will dictate for you the same so that you can go and do it after the lesson. I have some sentences here. The first one says, I saw the woman dash car won the race. The rally, sorry. I saw the woman dash car won the rally. And the answer you write yourself. Another sentence. This is the boy dash said he admires judges. I repeat. This is the boy dash said he admires judges. Fill that gap by yourself. I have another sentence. The children showed us dash they had hidden the toys. The children showed us dash they had hidden the toys. Answer that one. And the last sentence there is, I don't know dash the court session is likely to begin. I repeat, I don't know dash the court session is likely to fill that gap, and then we shall see how you have been able to do in the next lesson. Now, I want us now to use some other conjunctions. Use of that or which. Use of that or which. Okay. Learners, listen carefully. When we use words like all, thing, anything, and retro, you can also use only or retro. When we use all, thing, anything, only or retro in a sentence, we use that. These ones in a sentence, they go with that. That one, we use the word that whenever we have this one, or thing, anything, only, retro. And I am going to give an example. The first example is, do you have anything that you don't need. It is a question. Do you have anything that you don't need? So you have seen anything here should be followed by that. We have anything here. Anything is here. So with anything we shall use that. We have seen that when you use all those ones in a sentence, they are followed by that. Okay. I have another sentence. Or that you have said or that you have said will be done. Now we have all. This one. We have seen that it is all that. So whenever we have those ones in a sentence, they are usually followed by that. They are usually followed by that. Those sentences where we don't have these terms are only using the other one which. The other one which. And we are going to have some sentences here where the same ones are used. It goes like this. Fill in the gaps in the sentences below using that or which. And the first sentence is saying, all the evidence dash he gave was false. All the evidence dash he gave was false. And in this case, we are going to use that because we have all the evidence. That. So that gap we fill with that. And it is the sentence reads, all the evidence that he gave was false. Sentence number 2. The police recovered the car dash had been stolen. The police recovered the car dash had been stolen. So in this case, we don't have those words in that sentence. Therefore, we are going to use which. And the sentence will read, the police recovered the car which had been stolen. The police recovered the car which had been stolen. Sentence number 3. The mobile phone dash he bought is the latest model. The mobile phone dash he bought is the latest model. And the answer to that one is which, because we don't have those words that we have just mentioned in that sentence. And the sentence reads, the mobile phone which he bought is the latest model. Another sentence, the only thing dash you left here was Arura. The only thing dash you left here was Arura. And the sentence that, because we have only, and also thing, so we shall use that. And the sentence reads, the only thing that you left here was Arura. I'm going to give you another sentence. I am sure the little milk dash I have given you will be enough. I am sure the little milk dash I have given you will be enough. And in this case, we have retro there, and therefore we are going to use the word that. And the sentence reads, I'm sure the little milk that I have given you will be enough. Another sentence. It was the only film dash I had ever seen. It was the only film. Now the word only is there. If the word only is there, then we are going to use that. And the sentence will read, it was the only film that I had ever seen. I had ever seen. I want to give you another sentence. The little money dash she gave me could only buy one book. The little money dash she gave me could only buy one book. Now we have the word only. We have the word only there. And we also have retro. Retro is still there, so that sentence is going to use that. And it will read, the little money that she gave me could only buy one book. Now I'm going to dictate 3 sentences here, which you are going to write, and then we shall look at them next lesson. The first one is, the room dash the visitors used was very clean. The room dash the visitors used was very clean. Fill that gap with which or that. Remember the ones that we have mentioned? Whenever there are these ones appear in a sentence, remember you use that. And wherever you don't have these ones, you're supposed to use which. So read the sentences, be careful, and then you will get it correct. It's very simple. Another sentence. You will get anything dash you want. You will get anything dash you want. Fill that gap. Then, the last sentence. The kettle dash the thief stole was found. The kettle dash the thief stole was found. Answer that one. We shall look at it during the second lesson. I am done with that. Now I want to do our last part. Our last part, so that we shall end our lesson today. Now, we are going to use the. Use the plus proper noun. Yes. Use the plus proper noun. And this one is a bit simple because we know what are nouns. So it's only where now you use the. We use the with some proper nouns. E.g., we use the with some proper nouns. E.g., with some proper nouns. Fiji, and the Tana. You can see the Tana River. We can also see the Zambezi, Zambezi. We also have towns. You also have something else like the Standard. Some people read newspapers, the Standard newspaper. The city of Nairobi. We can use those papers, those things with the Standard, the town, the city, the capital city, the museum. You see, all those. But I want us to go through a few sentences here and see where we can use the or we can do without. There are those sentences where unless you put the, it is not grammatical. And there are those that with the, they are grammatical. So, I'm going to have a few of them as we wind up. Fill in the gaps below using the necessary, using the where necessary. The first one is saying, I talked. Let me wrap here. Yes. I talked to Kimeu yesterday. Yes, that sentence. Another sentence here. My sister is studying dash Netherlands. You see? Those two sentences. I talked to Dash yesterday. My sister is studying Dash Netherlands. So, we find that the first sentence, if we put the, it will read, I talked to the Kimeu yesterday. That grammar sounds like, Kimeu is the name of a person. This is the name of a person, so you cannot say the Kimeu. We just read the sentence as, I talked to Kimeu yesterday. I talked to him yesterday. What about this one? Here we are going to use the Netherlands. My sister is studying, sorry, did you have something missing? Studying in, there's in there. My sister is studying in the Netherlands. Yes. Then, I want us to continue. Sentence number 3. Dash Nile is a very important river in Africa. Dash Nile is a very important river in Africa. So we say the Nile. The Nile is a very important river in Africa. Number 4 is another sentence. Can I borrow your copy of Dash Daily Nation? Mora said. Can I borrow your copy of Dash Daily Nation? Mora said. In this case, we use the, and the sentence reads, can I borrow your copy of the Daily Nation? Mora said. Now, I am going to give you 3 sentences or 4 sentences for you to do before we meet again. So, questions for homework or assignment today. The first one, you are told to fill the gaps. Fill the gaps below using the where necessary. The first one, Dash Tana River Basin is very productive. Very productive. Sentence number 2. Mulinge visited Dash Nairobi Animal Orphanage. Animal Orphanage last year. They traveled to Brazil to watch the football match. Lastly, the pupils hope. The pupils hope to see fish at Dash Marine Park. The Dash Marine Park. So those sentences can be done, and then we shall look at them in our next lesson. So you have been able now to see how to use the plus a proper noun, how to use where and when in our sentences, and when and how to use who and whose in constructing sentences. That marks the end of our lesson today, and we shall visit this work. We shall see how we are able to use the in these 4 sentences, and then we shall proceed from there the next lesson. Your teacher was Mr. Jeno. Bye.